everyone, my name is Gloria. So who do we have in the audience here? What grades do we have? All the grades? Okay, all of high school. And middle school also? 8th grade? Okay, also very important. So as she said, so I went to UCLA. I graduated with a degree in art history and a minor in film. Since then, I've started my own company, which is still thriving very successfully. I'm currently an associate producer at an advertising agency right down the street in downtown LA. And on the side, I produce different horror content and scary movies for the world to see. So I have a few in development now. So how did I get to where I am today, and how can you guys get to where you want to get? And another question, how do you find out what you want to do? So we're going to talk about all of those things today. So I have this presentation that we're just going to go through. So the first thing we're going to talk about is some high school hints. How do you be the girl boss and the boss woman, the best that you can be here in high school, and focused on going to college and the most important things to think about when you're right here. So there's a little photo of me as a graduate. So the 3 top things that what I've learned graduating that colleges look at is number 1, your grades. Number 2, your test scores. And number 3, everything else you do. So for your grades, everyone tells you, you have to get good grades. This is absolutely a fact. For a lot of the better schools, and any school at all, it's getting so competitive now to get into college, which is a good thing because our generations are getting better, they're getting smarter, more people are going to college, but that means it's more competitive, so you guys need to be the best that you can be. So the first thing that colleges look at when you're applying is your transcript. They see your grades, which, yeah, it's like a piece of paper and it's not that exciting, but they're going through thousands and thousands of applications, so this is the first thing that you guys need to focus on when you guys are applying. So, how do you get good grades? We all have straight A's here, right? Yeah. Or very close to be. We're in October, so there's no stopping you. The semester has just started. So how do you get good grades? Number 1, you go to class, and you pay attention in class. But just the fact that you're in class, you're listening, you're absorbing the information, so good job there. Second thing is study for your tests. Usually everything on the test, I think that the teachers here are pretty fair. The things that are on your test, you've learned, you've heard in your classes. So nothing should be that outrageous of, brand new things that you've never heard. And then third is do your homework. When I was here, they weren't like outrageous. I didn't have like 10 hours of homework. So usually it was, it's pretty doable. And going into that, one thing that you need to practice now and what'll continue on with you is don't procrastinate. Honestly, the less you do that, the better you'll get at it. Something that I like to say, instead of waiting for the last minute to do something, try to find the first moment that you can do it. So something that I do, even at work, if there's something that I'm like dreading, I don't want to do, try to do that thing first. So once you get that out of the way, you can move on and do the rest of the things. And then third is think about the greater good. If you get good grades, you'll get into a good school, you'll go to a college, and it'll be awesome because college is super fun. It's an escape. You guys can get away from your family, even though we love your family. But it's just like, it's an experience that is so special. I miss it even a lot now that I'm in the real world. So really think about that in your everyday. Forward think when you're in your classes, when you're doing your homework, when you're taking your tests. The second thing that colleges look at are your test scores. SAT scores, ACT, that's another big thing that is so important, and that they can quickly see, the score that you got and how you're doing. Sacred Heart offers so many resources for this. There's so many books. I went to my local library, and those books actually specifically helped me so much in getting the score that I wanted to get. And AP tests are also very good. Having passing scores on that, colleges love, and sometimes those classes will also replace classes in college, so you have to take less classes. And third is everything else you do. these days, because it's getting so much more competitive, colleges like to see that, you know, you have great grades, you have a good SAT score, but they are also doing other things. So let that be sports, especially with this new amazing gym. I'm so jealous. You guys have this and this amazing space. There's so many clubs here on campus. At least just join one club, one organization that you can be a part of and that you really like. Another great, awesome thing is volunteering. I think when I was here, we had to do so many hours of volunteering per year, and even at that point, I was like, I have to volunteer and go clean up the neighborhood. And then it was like, I could just put this on my college application, and I didn't even have to think about it. So people love that, and it's good to give back to your community because we're all here together. So anything that makes you unique. Here I did musical theater at Cathedral. You'll see a familiar face in there, Sandra. So that was amazing. That made me into the person I am today. And there's me at Playday right here in this gym. So Playday, that's also a big fun activity that Sacred Heart puts on and that could add to your college application. Okay, so that's high school. So after high school, what's next? Hopefully for many of you, it's college. So let's start thinking about some college tips for all y'all. So the first thing about college, I know it sounds obvious, but in college, the thing you're paying for are your classes. You're paying for the education that you're gonna be learning. So in college, sometimes you're so overwhelmed, you're so distracted, all these classes, tests, homework, clubs, but at least really try to take in some information from your classes and absorb that, because it's so easy for the information to come in one ear, come out the other, and then you're moving on to the next thing. So during the first 2 years, you have to take your general education. These can sometimes be annoying. Like for me, I was an art history major, and they're like, okay, you have to take a math class. And I was like, I don't want to take a math class. I'm studying paintings and art, and it's so much fun. But I was like, okay, fine. So I took stats, and I ended up loving that so much because I took that class. It's helped me with my finances, and it's helped me in a lot of things today. So the GEs are really good. They're really fun. There's so many different ones that you can take usually, so you can just find out, and it's also testing out what you want to do. If you're still unsure, you can test out classes that you're like, maybe I'm interested in astronomy. So you go and you take that class, and that can really be a test to help you figure out what you want to do. So with college, kind of similar things. Most important thing with acing a class is go to class. And I'm saying that because in college, no one is really telling you to go and to do these things. No one is monitoring your day-to-day. So it's up to you guys to be accountable and to really think about the priorities when you're there. So also a lot of classes, nobody really takes attendance. You know, there are these big lecture halls, but if you miss a class, you're missing that information, and maybe someone didn't record the lecture. So now you're not gonna have that piece of information for the class and for the test. Your professor is basically summarizing, you know, the chapter or the article in this book, so it's so much better to be there, to be active, to be proactive in your classes. So try to go to class. I know 8 a.m.s are really hard, but wake up, you got it. Definitely study, and something that you find out when you're there is find your style when you're studying. Some people like to go to a library, they like to be in a pod and be focused with their music, but also a lot of people like to collaborate. So a ton of people like to do this. So find friends in your class, you know, people that look approachable. Hey, do you want to go study at the library this afternoon for a test? Sure. Usually they'll be totally susceptible to it, and you'll make new friends that way. So find what really works for you, and you'll figure this out along the way once you go. So the second thing in colleges is internships and jobs are so important. Because when you graduate, they're gonna say in your job interview, okay, Gloria, so what did you do in college? Let's say I hadn't done anything, I just went to class. I graduated with this degree. Okay, so tell me about your job experiences. What have you gained professionally? If you don't have much to say that's really not going to look good for you, and it's good just to start when you're in college to start gaining those practical job skills. Having a manager, working with your manager, working with different coworkers and your different employees, and you'll really learn things along the way that'll help you be more responsible and working those long hours and getting to know how a job really works. So I highly recommend, if that's having a job, at the library, having a job on campus, just anywhere that you can, it really helps a lot, especially on your resume, and you get to make some extra bucks, so why not? A second big thing is internships are so important. Companies usually give internships to students. So those are directly for you guys, and you guys are the people they're looking for. I know this because I actually have my current job because I was an intern there in college. Our CEO, she went to UCLA, and they put the internship postings on the UCLA career site. So I applied, I ended up getting the internship, and then after I graduated, they kind of just offered me a job because I helped fill something that they needed. So usually with an internship, it's almost like a semi-guarantee of a job because they rather hire someone who they already know, who's doing a good job, who already knows the company, because it's way easier than to hire someone else who's brand new. So definitely get an internship, and you can get an internship in anything you want to do. LA, thank God we're in this giant city. You can literally do anything you want from, I'm currently in entertainment, but there's great science programs, there's business, there's everything. So find the company that you like if you want to work for a recording studio. Go on their website, get their email, and email them, hey, I'm interested in an internship. Do you have availabilities? I'm available 3 days a week. And just keep hounding them and be active, and you'll get your way. So you just have to be proactive, and you have to be consistent and really work on it. So jobs and internships are for the win. And then third in college to focus on, and don't forget, is your social life. So you're studying for your test, but in 20 years down the road, are you going to remember the biology test that we all know and love? I don't know, but maybe you're gonna remember the first football game that you ever went to with your best friends and sat in the student section, and it was a great, exhilarating time. Or if you have the opportunity, maybe you studied abroad in Paris, and here's a photo of me actually doing that. This was our last day there in Paris. We went on to the roof of where I was staying, and we watched the sunrise, and it was one of the best days of my life still to this day, and I remember those moments. So, and another thing in college is clubs are also a big thing. So you have clubs here in high school. Well, the clubs get a notch up in college because you have your rehearsals or you have meetings after school, and these clubs will just become your family. I was part of a theater company at UCLA, and these people were my rocks. They helped me when I needed assistance in anything, and I still work with a lot of these people to this day. We work on different projects, and some of these people are my best friends. So clubs are really good when you're in college because, especially like at UCLA, this is a 40,000 people school. It's really easy to get lost and maybe to feel alone. So find what you want to do. If you want to be on an intramural sports team, something artistic, something STEM related, there's something for everyone. So try to find that avenue and really go for it because I think it helps a lot. All right, so those are just some quick college tips. So after college, what do? Hopefully you start looking for a job. Jobs are fun. So let's talk about what leads up to getting a job. First thing to getting a good job is educating yourself. With an education, with going to college, something that I say is an education is like a shield of armor. The more you have, the stronger you are. Especially these days, having just a high school degree won't really get you to maybe the top place that you want to get. So you really need to look at the industry you want to get to and what does it take to get there. If you want to become a nurse, maybe you need to go to nursing school, or get a bachelor's degree if you want to become a teacher, a professor, and just learn about what do you need to do to arm yourself to get there. So one thing I like to say is, if you can get an education now, do it. You'll thank yourself later, because as you get older, as things go by, things get harder. So if you have the time right now, you're young, you're beautiful, you're single, you don't have a family just yet, you should take the opportunities that you can and go to school. And another thing is, an education is about you guys. It's not your brothers, it's not your moms, it's your education, and it should focus on your growth and what you guys want to do. So really think about that. It's what you want to get out of it is what you'll get. This is an important point. You're the ones who's going to be in your classes and in your jobs. So really try to find what works for you guys and what you really like, because you guys are going to be the ones, going through all this and eventually working all these hours a week. So make sure that you find what really works for you and what you guys like. All right, so then moving on to, so what am I going to do with my life? What do I like to do? First thing you need to find out is, what industry do you want to get in, and which goes into, what do you like to do? So what are your passions? Here's just a flyby of an exercise that you guys can do of 7 things to figure out what you want to do with your life. 7 questions that you can ask yourself. So just ponder about these things during the next few weeks. So what are the things I'm most passionate about? What are my greatest accomplishments in life so far? If my life had absolutely no limits, what would I choose to have, and what would I choose to do? What are my goals in life? Whom do I admire most in the world? What do I not like to do? And how hard am I willing to work to get what I want? So if you don't really have a secure path right now, that's completely fine. We're all still young. I discovered what I wanted to do midway through college. I ended up not going in the exact direction that I thought I was going to go, and that's totally fine to figure it out as you go, because we're all learning and we're still growing. And definitely don't be afraid to take risks. So take that extra class that you weren't sure about, that you're kind of interested in, to just really find out what works for you guys. And work harder than everyone else. That really does stay true to me, because, like I said, things are getting more and more competitive, and if you're not keeping up with the pace and with the trends, it's going to be hard and you're going to fall behind. So try your best every single day. If you're trying your hardest, you're not going to feel guilty that, oh, I wish I would have did better that time. I wish I would have cared a little bit more. Because if you're giving your best, then you're going to be fine, because that's everything you have to give. So just keep working on that, and the momentum will keep building from there. So here's just what I do now. So I'm a commercial and a film producer. So I produce for an advertising agency here in downtown. So I do, like I told you guys, commercials for TV, for web, for broadcast. So that's my full-time job here. And what I do on the side is I make different films and genre-focused films and different narratives. So that's been really fun. It's always good to have, like, you have your main job and then you have your other passions that keep you going, because we really need to be multi-talented and multi-faced to be able to get to where we want to get to. All right, so now, what is next? What I love to do, I love to set goals. So what you guys can do if you haven't already, the thing with goal setting is when you're setting goals, it's good to be specific. Think about exactly the type of goal that you want to set and make sure that it's attainable, that maybe you can't accomplish one thing until 20 years from now, so what can you accomplish in the next month, in the next year? And make those goals specific and attainable and measurable. So I kind of like break out different goals, so it's not just like, what am I gonna do for the whole rest of my life? So I have like personal goals. So one of mine is like, read a chapter of a book every single day, watch one film a week, work out 3 times a week. I wish I could work out every single day, but I don't have time for that. So what's more attainable for me is just to do that. And now think about your school goals. Think about your goals in high school. Do you want to pass an AP test? Do you want to get this score on your SAT? Think about what makes sense for you and going into college. You want to get into these many colleges, and you want to go here and you want to study that. And then career goals. Maybe you want to be a nurse. Maybe you want to be an astronaut. Set these things just to start thinking about it, and these will definitely, they can change as you go on. So they're not put in stone. It's just really good to have your goals. Like they say, it's good to have them written down and to have somewhere visual where you can see these every single day so they can remind you about your path. And then fourth is life goals. This one's also fun because what do you want to accomplish in your entire life? Do you want to win a Nobel Peace Prize? Do you want to join the military? Do you want to win a Best Picture? What do you want for your entire life? And these can begin to be the building blocks for you to get there. So it just sets out a path and something to see and that you can change and, revise as you move forward. So I hope you guys learned something from this. Definitely be active, be proactive, and if you really like something, just do it and go for it because I know you guys can do it. Thank you.